And welcome to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at the fabulous Arizona Center. And today on the show, we are talking to Lisa Kneller, who is a marriage and relationship coach.
Yeah.
And what I love about Lisa is she's very transparent about how every marriage has challenging times, including her own, and she was willing to say that. And that sometimes you just need the right tools and kind of the right support to be able to work through those challenging times. Doesn't mean your marriage is bad, doesn't mean you gotta leave, it just means you gotta work a little harder during those times.
Or work smarter.
Or work smarter, that's right. So we'll be chatting with Lisa, so keep it right here for tips from a marriage coach. Okay, Marshall, so I got to brag just a little bit about our friend. We have a friend, Toy Taylor Good Game, who wrote a book. It's called Motivational Beauty. She's known as the Motivational Beauty Coach, actually, on Instagram. And she wrote this book. This is, it's really for anyone, but she kind of gears it towards, she calls it seasoned skin. What do you think that means, Marshall?
Skin outside of Arizona.
Mature. Yeah. So 40s, 50s, 60s, makeup.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Makeup sits different, you know. So, but it's a really, she's been in the industry for decades. She's got so many great tips. And what's kind of cool about this book is like there's pictures, you know, in it. So you don't have to guess like, what does she mean? What is she talking about?
Even just in moisturizing. I mean, I hit a certain age. It's like, well, wait a minute. The stuff I've been using for the last 30 years is now causing other side effects that weren't there. So it's like, okay, it's a whole new regime. So
yeah. Well, I thought that was funny because, you know, we were talking yesterday. Literally, we just went to a private book launch for her. And you know, there was only a couple white women in the room, and they were like, what about, you know, for us, what's a tip that we should do? And she was like, y'all, your skin doesn't age well. You really need to moisturize. Like, she was like, skincare is a must. Yeah. So, you know, and I think it's so true, you know. It's funny because I have mixed feelings about, like, you know, nowadays on Instagram, you see like 12-year-olds starting a skincare routine, and you're like, honey, don't worry about that right now. But then I'm like, also, you live in Arizona. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Sunscreen will be your best
friend. Care. But anyway, we're so proud of her.
Indeed.
She is literally.
Toy.
Yeah. She is kind of just getting this going for herself. So if you do want a book, a great makeup book that is going to be foundational for how you apply your makeup and just everyday tips and kind of finding your goddess look, you can contact her directly for a book at Motivating Beauty Coach, or look up Toy Taylor Makeup Artist, and her website should pop up. So grab a book, support her, and yeah, learn how to level up your makeup game.
And be beautiful on the inside and the outside.
I think that's, you know, she is such a wonderful person, and you can see that too in the pages that shines through her spirit and her energy. So, and what's kind of a cool story is her wife is one of the models in the book. They had just met, and she like asked Tanya if she would do it. Tanya does not wear makeup. Like, Tanya, you know.
No, I was gonna say, I'm like, Tanya's a model for the book. What's like, how does that work?
I know. So anyway, it's cute. Now looking back, it's cute because this was 4 years ago when she started it. So
okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we're excited for Toy. What else, Marshall? What do we got going on? Anything?
Well, you know, it's like I'm excited because it's like this week I'm doing Liar Liar, the storytelling thing. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. That's over Wednesday night at the Royale.
Okay.
You know, it's like I can already see September is starting to get overconsumed. And October is pretty much already a wash.
Yeah, September is like booked. Like I'm locked in.
I'm like moving things around, going, okay, well, this is happening this day, so let's move that to this. And
oh yeah, he did that to me this morning. He was like, oh, I want to do this event on this day now, so can we move this to this? And I'm like, sure.
So it's like those little games where you have to like move all the different little pieces.
At least both of those plans were with you, so I was like,
Right.
I mean, either way, I had the dates.
Right. The dates are already
out,
saved.
so.
It's just swapping.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we do have Lisa here who is going to talk to us about coaching, which is different than therapy, and, you know, the kind of work that goes on. I think what you'll find is it's a lot of self-work. Yeah? So.
Well, because, you know, as they say.
You might have just heard my stomach because I'm really hungry.
You got to love yourself before you can love somebody else. So.
Oh, people are getting pissed about that saying now online. Have you seen all the pushback against that?
No. What's the pushback? I don't understand. So.
Well, because there's this movement now of like, I don't know how, I'm trying to think how to explain it well. It's like, I have such deep-rooted trauma, Marshall, that I'm never going to like love myself. And why do I have to feel that in order to be worthy of love from somebody else?
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe they're not.
Hard truths with Marshall Shore.
I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so traumatized by life that, wow.
You know.
Interesting.
It's weird times, Wild West times on the internet. All right. Well, as I broke Marshall, so we'll be right back with Lisa.
Hello and welcome back to the morning show. I am Marshall Shore.
You didn't sound sure about that, but I'm Melissa Farley. I know that for sure.
Well, I heard the music a little loud in my ear, and I was like, okay, mics are live, but should I shout? Should I not shout?
I am Marshall Shore. Okay.
But you know, one thing I am sure of.
What?
We have a guest.
We do have a guest. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Lisa is one of my fellow sisters from the Women 360.
Ah.
Yeah, so I just joined this organization, and I've already met so many incredible women and have gotten to be involved with some really cool opportunities, and it's just been so lovely. But Lisa, you are a coach. Mm-hmm. Why don't you share a little bit about Lisa Kneller Coaching and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a marriage and relationship coach, which is kind of a pivot from general life coaching. But I have an over 20-year background of teaching yoga and mind, body, spirit and personal development and studying psychology and different thought methods and things like that. And about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I just decided to get into coaching after all of that. I was a high-achieving stay-at-home mom for 28 years.
Wow. And
so, so I just shifted into something that felt, well, it feels like a calling, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the difference between coaching and therapy?
That's such a great question. Oh, I love that question. Because my daughter's a therapist.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a trauma
God.
therapist, and she is also a marriage counselor.
Okay.
And does marriage intensives and things like that. So really, therapy is more about kind of not digging up the past, but addressing the past and helping heal wounds, traumatic wounds from childhood. And like, we all have them, but they range from small to really huge. And so, so they focus a lot on processing through the emotions and through your psyche with therapy and different methods. And coaching is really more forward thinking. You're actually working with someone who's already mentally healthy, not to say that they wouldn't do therapy also,
right?
But, you know, because a lot of people do. But coaching is a great support for someone who wants to achieve a goal that they can't do on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of, I don't know if I'm saying this right or thinking about it right, but maybe a little bit more strategic. Kind of, you're using coaching to kind of, like you said, reach a goal or accomplish a goal that you're trying to meet in your life. Yeah.
I think it feels like nudging them. It's like it's like looking over the edge, and you're just kind of like, okay, it's okay, it's okay.
It's that, but it's really about reprogramming the mind and the way you think and that kind of thing, because we get stuck in our habits, we get stuck in our patterns, and we don't always see outside of that. We don't see possibilities a lot of times, even coaches, you know, like we're still all growing, right? So it's nice to have somebody see your patterns and see things that you're not actually seeing and point them out and point them in a direction that would be most helpful.
Yeah. So tell me, why did you get into the marriage relationships kind of side of things when you went into coaching?
Well, a lot of coaches just start out as a general life coach because they're really not sure, and they're always kind of told you should niche down or no, you shouldn't, or whatever. There's always different opinions. But one day it just sort of hit me over the head like, okay, you need to pick something that you're passionate about. And I am passionate about helping people stay married, or really more importantly, just improve their relationships. And when you improve your relationships, the chances of your marriage lasting longer is going to increase. And I love talking about all things marriage and relationships.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that something that you do with a couple, or do you just do with one person, or does it kind of depend on who you're working with?
Another great question, because I don't really work with couples. I leave that to the couples therapists.
Okay.
Right? They have very specific programs to work with couples. I like to work with women particularly.
Okay.
Because I feel that a woman has a lot of power in the relationship. She has the power to instigate positive change. She can change her own behavior. It's really not about changing someone else's behavior.
Yeah.
I do feel like the other person has to be receptive in some way.
Right.
And I mean, I can tell you in my own marriage, and I've been married 39 years, I'm the one that does the work, primarily.
Yeah.
My husband benefits from my inner work.
Say more about that. When you say inner work, what does that mean? What does that look like? And what are you finding, like, when women come to you as a coach, like, what is it that you're spending time mostly, working with them on?
Yeah. Well, number one, you want to find out what they're going through. That's the first thing. And then you want to find out, where do they really want to be? What is it they really want? And to get them to see that the possibility is there, that they can actually have that thing that they want, like a harmonious relationship or whatever. And then the inner work is really about looking at your own behavior, looking at your own thinking, looking at how you contribute or take away from the relationship. Yeah. And that all requires some reflection and some thinking, and maybe some exercises, maybe some reading, lots of resources. So I personally have had a lot of tools in my own life. I wouldn't be married still if I didn't have tools. Yeah. So sometimes pointing those things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to give away any trade secrets, but could you just describe one of the exercises? Because I always think kind of that homework, or how do you get people to see their patterns and attempt to change them?
Well, let's just start with identity for one thing, because I'm really all about identity.
That feels like a big one.
Purpose,
to start with identity.
and direction. It is a big one, and it's the biggest one, and it's foundational. You know how important foundation is, right? So I think the foundation is, who am I? Who am I being? Who do I want to be? Without really necessarily talking about your roles, okay? So you have roles in your lifetime, but who are you at your core intrinsically? You come out as a thriving baby, and, life hits you in the head.
Certainly feels like that a lot.
It's definitely the head and the heart.
Yeah.
Because they're both connected. So maybe an exercise would be, let's write down who you think you are. Let's just write a list of all the things that you think who you are. And let's focus in on that, and let's get you to a healthy place there. Because a lot of people do not think about who they are at their core. They think, well, I'm a mom, I'm a CEO, I am this, I'm that, but really they're more than that. They're really an extension of the infinite intelligence of the universe, which makes them so much more than they think they are.
I think that's so important because Marshall's heard me tell this story before. In 2019, I left my job. I had clinical burnout, and I did not rush to go find another job. I literally withdrew from, I call it my year of the hermit. I withdrew basically from everything with the hopes of kind of uncovering and discovering, who am I at the core, without all of these societal, pressures and expectations and things, like who am I at the base of my foundation. And that was so pivotal for me. And I think it's something that, now it's been not even 10 years later, and I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like I could do that again, because things just, it's so easy to become reactive, and to not, and that leads me to a question I was going to ask you, because I think, there's the people who like to play victim or, fall into that victim role. But like you were saying, there's a lot of people that just aren't aware of how they show up, how they're responsible for the thoughts and the things that are going on inside. How do you even have that conversation with somebody who's never thought about something like that before? Like, how does that conversation go? I'm just curious, because like as a coach, you probably have to be kind about it and not like, hey, idiot. Like,
no, we don't want to call names.
Yeah.
I mean, it really just starts out as a conversation, like if there's a way that I can help someone, and it doesn't even have to be in relationships or marriage, but if they're having a problem, then I'm going to ask some questions, know. And the therapist does the same thing. They ask a lot of questions just to see, where are you? And then you start to notice the patterns and what they're thinking and how they're behaving and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you invite them to maybe take a look at another thought or another idea. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and how does it work? So like with therapy, a lot of times, the goal is to eventually not be in therapy.
Yeah.
With coaching, is there kind of a set number of sessions that you sort of agree to, or do you kind of stay as someone's coach for as long as they want to work with you? Like, what's the arrangement usually?
It's very similar to that of therapy. Like, yes, the goal of therapy is to get them healthy and get on with their life, right? And the goal of coaching is to help the client get what it is they want. Once they get that, they might feel like they can just sail on their own. And sometimes a client will stay with a coach for years because they're getting so much out of it. They're getting so much growth and development out of that. And then sometimes they're like, okay, I've had enough. Or they'll try another coach. I mean, I've had several coaches. So, mine are more business-oriented coaches.
Right.
Yeah. More than life coaches, because the life part of my life has been pretty content and pretty satisfying. But that's all because of all the tools, the yoga, the teaching the yoga, all the stuff that I've been practicing and doing over the years.
Do you incorporate the yoga into your coaching at all?
I mean, on occasion, I will incorporate like some deep breathing exercises, some grounding exercises, because you can tell when a person is just like, and they're needing a little calming down,
Yeah.
So yes, but I mean, we're not doing poses,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a book here that you brought. Tell us a little bit about your book.
So the book is called The Inner Work of Love, 10 Understandings for Lasting Relationships. And it's really just a broad look at what are the things that contribute to a good relationship and what are some of the things that can tear it apart.
Yeah.
So, and then it's, filled with resources, and it's filled with questions that people can ask themselves, reflective questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that sounds very useful.
Yeah, and it's like 80 pages. It's very small and a quick read.
Yeah. So I want to go back to something that you said, and hopefully you're okay chatting about it. But you said, I probably wouldn't be married if I didn't have these tools. And I just thought it was really interesting that you are comfortable saying that, because a lot of people like to pretend or outwardly say, that they've got this perfect marriage or this perfect relationship. And so being able to just say something like that so comfortably is really interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious how you got to that point, and if that's something that kind of motivates you to be able to help other people be open and about what their relationships really look like.
That's such a great point, because I've been thinking about this lately, that you're right, people don't talk about their relationships. They really don't, unless, and I found out that the couple that is really suffering in their marriage, they usually take about 6 years to go get help. That's a long time of suffering.
That's a really long time, yeah.
And what was I going to say?
Your brain went in all these different directions.
Well, let me just share a personal experience, and I think this will help people just to know that I too have issues in my marriage.
Yeah.
And lately I've had issues because my husband just retired.
Oh, that's a complete, I mean, my parents went through that.
It's a game changer. Yeah.
My mom was like, I now have a puppy
Yes.
attached to my leg.
Yes. It is so different. It's such a big adjustment for both of us.
Yeah.
And I have to do my own inner work. And luckily, I have people in my life who are wise that I can, I've got my daughter, for one thing,
Yeah.
who's a therapist. And I was just with a friend the other day, and I was just, complaining. And she started asking me like coaching questions.
Yeah.
Well, like, is your husband maybe missing a little space? Like he used to have his own office and now he doesn't. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's that. And I do have a lot of conversations with myself. I think this is what a really great practice for people to have is to pause from the, name calling or complaining or whatever, and just go, okay, is that true? Yeah, maybe that's not true. He's not really a jerk.
Yeah.
He is just going through something hard right now.
Yeah.
And I need to have more compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have the compassion and when I work on me, it affects him.
Right.
And then it affects the whole relationship. So I am going through that right now.
Yeah.
And if that helps anybody, like, open up.
Yeah.
Because you're not alone. I think I was at a Women 360 event one time and I said, raise your hand if you've never had an issue in your relationships. And nobody raised their hand.
Well, at least they were being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so true. Like everybody just glosses over and they don't really want to talk about it until they know that there's someone they can talk to, they can be vulnerable with. And I think safety is the key thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
If you're going to spill your guts and be vulnerable, you want it to be with someone who is not going to be judgy, it's judgment free, it's safe, and all of that.
It's interesting that you said a lot of couples kind of suffer for 6 years, did you say, before getting help? I mean, what would you say to somebody that maybe is in that situation right now? Like, it's been a couple of years. It's really been something that they're suffering through. What maybe is an invitation you would give them if they're at that point in their life right now?
Well, the first thing I would say is there's hope. Don't give up, because it's definitely true that you could have a better relationship and you can have a better marriage, and maybe you need some help.
Yeah.
Maybe you need some help. And there's there's no end to the information out there, right? But not everybody reads it. Not everybody's listening to the podcasts. And so they just need to hear it from somebody at the right time.
Yeah.
But of course I would say get help. I would also say if you sense that there's any serious trauma in your backgrounds or your spouse's backgrounds or your partner's background, get some therapy. Like, just do it and go by yourself if you need to. I would say men are really reluctant to go to therapy, usually, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So like you go get the help, you get the coaching or you get the therapy, and then see if there's any way you can influence your partner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been really fascinating talking with you. I think that it's just so encouraging to know that there are people like you out there that can help them. I was going to say help them be strategic in kind of how they think about relationships, but also just that I think what you said too, a safe space, for them to even think about what's possible for them in their relationships. That's something that, I think that probably is a trap for a lot of people. It's like, oh, my relationship's always been this way, and I'm stuck in that, and.
Well, I like the word that you use, the word strategic, but and I would probably use the word intentional.
Yeah.
So like when you get into a relationship, you can just say to yourself, my intention for this relationship is for it to be really fun and healthy. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to create. I'm going to use my knowledge, my mind, my heart to make that happen. And of course, you only have so much control. So,
Yeah. I find it, sorry, this just popped into my head. I was dealing with a friend who was having marriage issues, and one of the first questions I asked her was, well, do you want to be married? Like, do you want to stay in the, And it like had never occurred to her to like ask that question. And I thought, how odd. Like, how do you decide how you want to move forward if you don't even know that you want to commit to this marriage and make it work, you know? And I'm just curious if you see stuff like that too, where it's like, you know, these things that you would think people would consider, they're just not, you know?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, half the population is at least there, right? Because that's the statistic. And there are a lot of people who get married that really don't have that intention. You know, they're all caught up in the emotion of, you know, being in a romantic relationship, and they don't see the hard stuff that's going to come, and it is going to come no matter what kind of a relationship you're in.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to say, I was the same way with my kids. I intend to have kids that I'm going to be good friends with when they're adults. So your intentions can go with whatever it is you're working on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that most people are living on autopilot, and they're not, you know, there is a lot of personal development out there. So it's not like it's not out there. Like I said, the information's out there. It's just, when is it going to hit you? When are you going to, you know, when are you going to
Well, and sometimes it's like, you know, you go to the cafeteria and there's so many options. What do I get?
What do I pick?
And so it's like, and then it's like, well, this person says this is good. This person says, well, this is not good.
Yeah.
And so, and I think a lot of times it's just kind of that curation, or here, let's talk about maybe it's good or it's bad for you. Let's talk about what that means.
Yeah.
And so just having somebody you can have that conversation with to find out what is the right tool.
Yes.
So you know whether to give them a regular screwdriver or a Phillips or a different one that will fit their needs.
And that's the benefit of a coach or a guide.
Exactly. Having that toolbox you can open up, and a variety of tools. You're not going to give them the entire box, but here's what can help you.
Yes, I love that analogy. That's wonderful.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure chatting about, I don't know that we've had a relationship coach on. I mean, we've had people that have done dating and, you know, sex and all sorts of other things, but you might be our first official relationship coach.
Woo-hoo!
So, yeah. Well, go ahead and look right into camera for us and share where people can either learn more about you or contact you, or if you have spots open to work with you, just share all the good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. I totally have spots to for people to work with me, but you can find me at lisanellercoaching.com. I always like to spell that because the K is silent, so you'll have that on your notes though, right?
We do, and it's in the lower thirds
there. It is.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I have a marriage empowerment series, so that's a freebie. I just give that away. It's like a newsletter, so it's lisanellercoaching.com/marriage-empowerment. And I also have a lot of other free stuff. So lisanellercoaching.com/free stuff, all one word.
Ooh, I like it.
So you weren't kidding me, you said free stuff.
Free stuff.
direct,
Just free stuff.
It's free stuff. People love free stuff.
We do. We love free stuff.
And it's a great way to help people get started in thinking about, you know, getting some tips and things like that. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook and all the places. So
okay, well, go follow Lisa. Go get some free stuff. I mean, why would you
who
not?
doesn't love free stuff?
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Please stick around for the rest of the morning show. We've got history, things to do, lots of other fun stuff. So keep it right here.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Marshall.
So the year is 1857.
That's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and the U.S. was mainly on the East Coast, but it was pushing westward. It was uncharted territory. People were seeking faster ways to get to California rather than maybe taking a boat. Maybe they wanted to go across land to get there. There were no highways, planes, or even stagecoaches at this point to get across that vast desert. Now, what they did was they put Lieutenant Edward Fitzgerald Beale. He was a naval officer, an adventurer, And he was tasked with surveying some ways to get across Arizona using the 35th parallel and basically that Fort Defiance to the Colorado River. And it wasn't just any expedition that he was leading. He started off and found out it was going to be one of the most bizarre cases in Arizona history of you get to work and you find out you're leading a bunch of camels. Now, this is a time when no one really knew what a camel even was. They hadn't seen photos of camels. There wasn't really camels around. These ships of the desert had been brought in from the Middle East because the Secretary of War then, Jefferson Davis, was like, we think they'll do really good in the desert in the U.S. because they do really good in the desert there. And so now these were nasty, smelling, snarling beasts that would like to spit at you.
They do like to do that, yeah.
They scared the horses. They scared the guys who'd never seen them before. And so they actually wound up bringing people over to deal with these super stubborn animals. And so Haji Ali, now people found it just easier to say Hi Jolly.
Yeah.
And so basically he was tasked with basically kind of maintaining the camels. Some folks even going as far as like a camel whisperer.
I knew you were going to say that.
And so now he is from Syria. He was also part Greek. And to people's amazement, the experiment worked.
Yeah.
The camels were really great. They could haul a lot more than mules.
Yeah.
They didn't need as much water. And everything was going pretty along swimmingly. And then 1861, Civil War erupts. Priorities change. Jefferson Davis goes on to other things, and the camels are kind of forgotten about. Some are released into the wild. Some are even sold at an auction. Now, at this point, Haji Ali got a hold of some of those camels and tried to have a business using them to haul. And it got him to Tucson. He got himself married, and it just didn't work out for him.
Okay.
So he wound up going to Quartzsite, and that's where he wound up passing away. And if you ever have you been to Quartzsite?
Oh yeah.
So have you been to the cemetery in Quartzsite?
I've not been to the cemetery. No.
You gotta go.
Okay.
They've actually a few years ago they did a really good kind of rejuvenation of the cemetery, and there is a huge pyramid that was erected as a monument to Haji Ali.
Oh, okay.
And you know, it's like that 35th parallel is roughly Route 66.
Yeah.
It also made a way for wagons as well as even trains to start going across Arizona.
Are there still camels in Quartzsite?
Only now small metal ones. They're now starting to put them on the street
Oh,
signs
okay.
because they're realizing how important it was.
There's no real camels there.
There's no real camels.
Okay.
But, you know, the stories of the camels live on. I mean, it's like at some point as it gets closer to October, when's a little more spooky, we'll talk about the story of the Red Ghost.
Ooh, okay.
Which ties directly into this and people just not knowing what the animal, the filthy snarling beast was. And even in pop culture, you know, in the 70s there was a movie called Humps that kind of talks about this story. And there is even a song by New Christie Minstrels that is all about Haji Ali. And as we say farewell today, be sure to keep up with us because we will be sharing more history.
Haji Ali was a camel driver long time ago. Followed Mr. Blaine out way out west. Didn't mind the burning sand in that godforsaken land, but he didn't mind the pretty gals the best.